We want to welcome everybody back to another Moments in Mastery. Myself, Chief Martin Chris Glenn, and my beautiful wife, Queen Sabrina Glenn. And it's been a while since we have done, a Moments in Mastery. We've been just experiencing, and we've had a lot of changes. A lot of people probably see. So we moved to Ghana, the family. So we're actually in Ghana right now. Ghana is beautiful. If you've never been, you need to come. And we actually provide services to help you come to Ghana to visit and to invest in various different businesses. And we're here because a lot of reasons, but I feel, I know my wife agrees with me, it's like a calling. Part of it's a calling, spiritual, why we're here. And other reasons is we wanted to experience a different life, a better life in a lot of aspects, and a better life for our children. So they get to experience, something different. Mm-hmm. Whereas a lot of, Black kids in America, they spend their whole life in the same neighborhood or the same area. And myself, growing up, my parents, I'm a military brat, so I got to experience the world. And it took me later on in life to realize how that really helped develop me, because you get to experience different people, different cultures, different language, and you get to travel. And so traveling, it really broadens your perspective. And so I definitely, and my wife and I, we definitely wanted our children to be well-rounded people to experience. We love, our people and family, and we love a lot about America as far as the people and whatnot. And some stuff, not so much, but we wanted our children to have different experiences, and we wanted to have different experiences, So we're in Ghana, and Ghana is beautiful. And being in Ghana is really a fulfillment of kind of what we've always been working on and how we actually came together. It kind of happened. My wife really manifested this when we met, around 10 years ago. She was a part of an organization, and she was researching and looking into actually moving to Ghana. And I remember us having some early conversations when we were dating. And I want you to talk some about that. I want you to, explain some of that. And then it kind of gives a little background how we ended up here,
Okay. Well, first I'm gonna circle back to that. Unlike my husband, I wasn't fortunate to have the upbringing of traveling and having all of those different experiences. Born and raised in Utah, Alabama, mainly down there in like Bowler G, Greene County, Mount Hebron specifically. And so I spent most of my life there.
Utah, Alabama. Because a lot of people probably seeing it, they never knew there was a Utah, Alabama. Unless you're from Alabama.
Alabama.
But yeah, it is a Utah, Alabama.
That's why I'm so country, and I'm proud to be from Alabama. But yeah, so I spent most of my life in Alabama. And so my mother, as I got older, we went between like Bowler G, Mount Hebron to Tuscaloosa. And so that's where I spent majority of my life. As I got older, I did start, I started traveling and exploring on my own. And then that's when I realized how my lifestyle, the things that I was manifesting, the way that my life was, it really was because I was a product of my environment. And it's because that the things that I was exposed to, the type of people I was exposed to, the type of conversations I was exposed to, the type of things I was exposed to was very limited. And so as I started doing network marketing after I had my first daughter, and I started traveling more, being a travel agent and things like that, I started to see life differently. And I started to have a bigger perception a broader perception on how I saw things. And so when in the midst of this, it was a lot going on in the world, even 10 years ago, as we always know, it's always something going on. But I ran across this group that was trying to get dual citizenship. And so I joined this group because I've always been passionate about the community and helping people. And so I joined thinking that we was gonna work towards getting dual citizenship. That really didn't work out, and that's cool. I'm very grateful for that group because I still learned a lot and I still was able to help. I'm not going to speak on that group, but in the midst of that group, that's when I met this man over here. And I remember talking to him and saying, when we first started talking, we wasn't even dating at this point. I'm like, we just getting to know each other, friends. And I'm like, what do you think about moving to Ghana? And he's like, why would I want to move to Ghana? And he's like, why would I want to go to Africa? Like, it don't make sense. And it's crazy because our very first date actually was to go see Aswa Quavy.
That's where I crazy.
Yeah, and he was even saying how people make it seem like Africa, the continent, is so dangerous, but America, like the crime rate that happens in America is crazy. And so, I was all for it, but he was like, no. And so when we started dating seriously, I really asked, I was like, I brought it up again, like, what about us moving? Yeah. And he was like, maybe 10 years.
Yeah. And I wasn't against, I was never ignorant. I wasn't against moving to Africa because I thought of crime or violence.
Okay.
I've always been a person that was so involved in the plight of African Americans or the black man in America. And so my perspective at that time was, Africa is over there. We got so many problems in America. Mm-hmm. So that was really my perspective. It wasn't that, I'm a learned person in African culture. But I just knew, I felt like there's so much to be done in America. I was like, I didn't see myself doing that at that time. I want to point that out because people.
That is true. He always did say that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to explore, and don't get me wrong, living here, my perspective about a lot have changed again. Or what, but I think that's what life is about. It's just the evolution of expansion of, consciousness. But, like you have had experiences of living in different countries. And so this is my very first experience of actually living in a different country. Mm-hmm. And I can honestly say it's not for the weak.
Yeah. What do you mean? But you got to expound on that. Yeah. What you mean?
You ready to go into that part, or should we circle back to that?
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
That's
that's a story.
That gets more in depth. Mm-hmm. But so this was about 10 years ago, right? And so as you explained, it was part of we had these early discussions about Ghana, and at that time I had an organization which we still have, our nonprofit is called the Seed of Life. And so the Seed of Life is all about cultural awareness and economic empowerment. And it was, I'm Black in America. So it was for the, Black people in America, mm-hmm. to teach us economics and teach us how to pool our money, put our resources together and build and develop communities. So, at that time I was just like, would I just abandon this, in America? That was just how I was thinking. And just moved to Ghana. And so I was like, well, I mean, maybe one day or whatever, but we got so much to do here in America. Mm-hmm. So that was like the perspective, which we have done a lot, and we continue to do a lot in America. We don't view the world as, we've got the internet now. Like, we got the world at our fingertips. And I think that's what holds a lot of people back. So when they see we have business here in Ghana, and we got multiple businesses in America, we've got land developments here in Ghana, we got land developments in the United States and Alabama, it's not that you have to stop, you just abandon or anything. It's really a connection, you know, and it really is. It's like it's divine how we ended up here because you know we done so much. We had the OW Gurley Community Center, and we poured a lot just into people, and we still do, helping them start businesses, teaching them about financial literacy, how to build, how to do something for yourself, how to start businesses. And we had these community centers, and we have all this stuff in America. And then, you know, we have Phoenix land, and that was just a blessing from during the pandemic, actually. And it was just an awakening at that time, and it was like, we need to go to like the country, to rural areas. We need to get into agriculture and commercial farming.
Yeah.
And you know, at that time, my wife was like, well, why we got to do that? Why we do that? And I was like, so I was actually researching places in Alabama to get land, and originally was looking at Selma, because Selma has so much of the civil rights history and stuff like that.
And I was all down for Selma.
Yeah, she was down for Selma.
But when he said,
but then I did further research, and I was like, Greene County is where we need to be. Like, we need to be, because that's like the gateway to the Black Belt, you know, Utah and Greene County. And I was looking at the demographics, 80% Black. I was looking at all the poverty, but I looked at all the land, and I'm like, dang. So we as Black people got all this land, but we're in poverty. So, you know, we're not utilizing the real resources, which is the land for food. And at that time, there was so much talk about food shortages. And so it was just this vision that I had, and we ended up going to Greene County to look for land, and the land found us.
Yeah,
the land found us by way of a great mentor, and he's really a spiritual founder of Phoenix Land too, because he actually provided the land for us, and he's transitioned. He's with the ancestors now, and that's Mr. William Hall. Was a businessman and into land development, you know, all over the country. And his mentorship and talking with him and him giving us access to this land helped spawn what we call a rebirth of Black Wall Street and Phoenix Land, because it's us rising from the ashes, right? And so that's how we ended up with this land in Alabama and with these different agriculture developments. But for my wife to go back to, you know, Utah, Greene County, where she was just, you know, was explaining like, you know, it's so limited, it's poverty, you know, I want you to expound on that, like how that was for you. Because it's different for me, because for me, it was like, okay, I'm called to go down here. We're going to develop this land. It's Black down there. It's, you know, it's a mission and purpose. But for you coming from there, like, you know, what was your experiences growing up? And you know, so how did that feel when I kind of said, we going down there?
Honestly, well, you already know. It was very traumatizing at first, because I was okay with going down the Black Belt. I was okay with like Selma, anywhere down the Black Belt, to be honest. But I think it was the fact of exactly where we was going. And it started to expose a lot of trauma that I really wasn't fully healed from. And so a lot of my childhood memories, like I know when I left there, I was around 13, 14 years old, and I made a promise to myself. I was like, I'm never coming back here. I'm never moving back here. And up until that point, I kept that promise. And I didn't realize that so much of my purpose was tied into me going back, you know, and I didn't realize how healing it would be for me, not only just to go back and face my fears and realize there was nothing to fear, because I wasn't that same little 13-year-old girl that was traumatized and, you know, but going, because like it was bigger than even going back. The land itself was healing. The way that it came about was very spiritual. Like I can't even describe it any other way with how we even met Mr. Hall. You know, because we really was looking for a grocery store.
Yeah, we wanted. Yeah, we actually. Yeah, that's right. We were really looking for a grocery store.
Yeah, we was looking for land too, but you know, at that point, we was like, well, let's just find a building like where we can do a grocery store in.
Yeah,
and
black owned grocery store that we would network with black farmers and things. And
he was like, so, boy, what you gonna do with a grocery store? You ain't even got a farm.
Yeah.
You need a farm first. Yeah. Go look at this land. And this is the first conversation.
Yeah.
And we felt it was a weird interview. It was like it felt like the ancestors were speaking through him, just to be honest. We was actually on vacation when we called him. We was in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
Anniversary. And you know, I'm very good with remembering details, especially when it comes to spirituality. And after this, I had a dream about the land. I remember telling him like, babe, I had a dream that we had this land, and when you go through this gate, it's gonna be like an old gate, and it's gonna be trees on both sides. You're gonna drive through the trees, and you're gonna just drive up to the house. Yeah. And not thinking anything of it. Time go by. We called Mr. Hall. When he called Mr. Hall, actually you called his sister first, and she gave you his number. Yeah. And when you called his number, when he finally called you back, we was on vacation, and it was like a weird feeling. It was like, what the world? And then so as soon as we got back, you went to go see the land.
Yeah.
And you came back and you was pretty much describing, like, that's what my dream said, you know, because it was a beautiful, my dream wasn't just it was even better than my dream, because my dream just had like trees with like, it was like more like woods going down this dirt road, but it was magnolia trees. Oh my God. So beautiful. Yeah. Like the land is so beautiful. But then when you go up, the house was like this old slave house. And so that part, it was like, ain't no way in the heck. But I didn't, but so even fighting so much to do that, and then like we alchemized the energy within that house. It was like the ancestors wanted us to be in that house to shift the energy within it. It was like, I don't know, that house became so healing and so nurturing for us. Like I don't know. It's deeper than what I can even give, because it's like, I don't have the words to explain it all, but I can say every step of the way was exactly what I needed. And as I went back and we building and we're doing things there, it was like, it went from like allowing the childhood trauma to traumatize me and to hurt me to saying, no, we got to do something to help these people. Like, we got to help my people. Like, this is where I'm from. And so if nobody else going to do it, then why not us? And so, it just was very purposeful. But in the midst of all of that, I completely gave up on Ghana. Completely. I was not trying to move to Ghana. I wasn't trying to. Yeah. And then next thing you know, he started coming back and forth, becoming to work with the Cultural Oneness Festival and the Taste of Africa. And so, we'll come, go. He end up in skin.
Well, let me give you, because it is a lot. It's a process. Yeah. So during that process, we are at the time, we have the land, we're living on the land. Well, actually, we were still living in Tuscaloosa, but we had the land and we were developing it, fixing the house and clearing more land and farming, growing row crops and stuff like that. But we were still living in Tuscaloosa. And then at that time, I had started doing some investing with a friend in Ghana, who became my business partner. And he always was saying, you need to actually come to Ghana. So I started buying goods and getting them shipped from Ghana.
Like shea butter and black.
Yeah, shea butter, black soap, these leather, handcrafted items and stuff. And so we started doing business like that. And he was just like, man, you need to actually come to Ghana. And I started really opening up more to doing global business, and then I ended up coming to Ghana. And, the first time, so, my brother had always been in and out of Africa and always told me if I was going to go anywhere, go to Ghana first. And so, I took that advice. And Ghana was just like, it was like home when I first got here the first time. It was a feeling that I'm like, I'm in Africa, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in Africa. And it was beautiful. You get off the plane, I'm like, you see buildings, you see, structures, you see, wow, okay, this is nice, this is beautiful, this is nothing like how we've been programmed. Um, it's one thing to know it from reading or whatever, but to actually step foot and experience is totally different. And so, I got the experience, and then I went to Cape Coast and see the slave dungeons that they call castles, and seeing like the torture and the historical aspect of how we were kidnapped, and the mental programming started there through religion and all of this stuff. And really, like, when you see it, it's one thing when you hear about it, but when you see it and you see where women were kept and how we were done, and it's like
you can still feel the energy.
You feel the energy. And I don't know anyone that holds back tears like when you first experience that, because it's like you can feel it. And then it's ancestral, so you're like, wow, these is like my people, and so that was an experience, and that made the calling even more deeper, because it's like, okay, well, how do we get in the situation that we're in America? I do all this talk about economics and all of that. And so I went back into my root studies, and that was like in Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey was like connecting Africans around the world, whether you're in America, Jamaica, the islands, on the continental African, in Europe, whatever. He was connecting, and Marcus Garvey was really telling us we need to do business. Mm-hmm. And he was like, the resources are in Africa. So that really was like, okay, I started putting it all together. And at that time, and then I'm like, okay, so we can do global business and can help Black people in America, and it can help, Africans here on the continent. So it just led me, I started being led, these really was more, they were missions. They was not like, I wasn't coming here to party and do a lot of stuff that people do, because Ghana has a lot of, tourist attractions, and you can have a lot of fun and all that. But I was being called for missions. Like, so my partner, Tango Kapmani, we became like total business partners, and we started the Taste of Africa. And that's a company that brings people of African descent together through music, arts, and culture. So we created the Cultural Oneness Festival, because we wanted to have this festival where people come and we could show them business opportunities, and that would spawn investment.
And teach history.
Yeah, and teach history and culture also. So we ended up doing all of this, and then I just became engulfed. At the same time, I'm always coming back to the U.S. I've been in Alabama for the last 20 some plus years, coming back home with my family, and we still have our developments, like never stopped anything. Mm-hmm. But what coming to Ghana did for me was gave me a better understanding of building community. Because prior to coming here, it was like, it was always so much economics. Black people, we put together the money. But coming to Ghana, and specifically Northern Ghana, there's it's a culture of chieftaincy. It's a culture of real community where they still do ancient customs, right? To where they gather, once a week, and they discuss all the problems in the community. And everybody said, well, Chief, what should we do? And what I really seen was a culture, there was still a reverence. In America, we would just say elders. There was such a respect for your elders, or there's a respect for people that have helped develop and build. And so you still see the children, they still kneel and bow and honor, and it's so much, it's honor. And I'm like, you know what? See, when they teach us about Black Wall Street, they only teach one aspect. They always talk about just the business. But we had money. And what I realized is, if you just try to build a community based off of money, you're going to get the problems of America, right? But if you have culture and spirituality at the foundation, which is love of your ancestors and our people and our customs, then you can add in the economics. You have to have that, or else you're going to produce the problem that America has. It's a capitalist. It's all about capital, 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 money, and capitalizing off something. And there's no value system, and people just start doing anything for money. And so I needed to come and experience this, right, to see that part. Now, there's obviously still stuff that is, has to be, developing and modernized here, right? But that part is what you have to have. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, dang, I needed to experience that, because when you're in America, you're trying to develop communities and this and that. We are so caught up in chasing a dollar in America. And it produces the problems that we have. We lose values, and we use that word culture, but it really is, culture is mindset that everybody, a group of people have. You know
Just
what I'm
like your
saying?
way of life.
Yeah, it's principles, it's way of life, it's standards. And you think about the neighborhoods that we live in America, we don't have none of that. There ain't no principle, and there's no ownership. So, I needed to experience that to help even better the developments in the community that we're doing in the United States. So I needed to experience it. So all of it came full circle. And that's how we're here today. So everything was necessary. And before we knew it, like my wife said, she wasn't even thinking about coming to Ghana. And I was coming back and forth so much. Then I was skinned as a chief. And that's like, so I have, a community that I'm over, right, in an area. And part of that, what my paramount chief in Tolan, which is in northern Ghana, is that he said, well, bring the brothers home, bring them back to their ancestral homeland. And they can build and they can have land and we can build communities, but help us develop, right? So it's like, okay, so you have access to resources here that can help the community here, and it can help us, that's born in the United States or still live in the United States. Then it's like a bond of family, because many of us, this is where we came from. Most black people in America came by way of the slave trade. The other ones that didn't came here because we came on our own boats before there was slavery, right? But we're all still one people. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like us coming together. It's ancestral, and it's and so we look at this cultural oneness festival to show, look, we're one people. Whether you got here by the slave trade or you can study history, we was there before Columbus. We've been circumnavigating the planet. Civilization started in Africa, and all your science, mathematics. That's known. Regardless of what lies people are getting in the school system, you just do some research. But it's about us working together. Whether you identify with even the word Africa or African or not, you just want to call yourself black, you want to call yourself whatever. It's about us as people, black people in America, realizing that we built this country, you see what I'm saying, but we still don't own anything. We don't control any of the wealth. So therefore, we can invest in Africa. And it's not just Ghana, it's invest in Africa and create wealth, with real resources. So it opened up so many opportunities, And then how did we end up like just moving here though?
You tell me. How did we move here?
I don't know, you. That's your
Why
decision.
you dragged me here?
That's your decision. I didn't drag you here. How did we end up here though? It's crazy. Yeah.
I don't feel like we decided to come. I feel like it was a spiritual pull. I feel like the ancestors told us to come, and we just was being obedient.
Yeah.
So you may feel like I made you come or talked you into coming, but it really wasn't me.
No, I don't feel like he made me or taught me anything. But I just wanted you to expound on how it happened.
I just started to feel this pull, and I kept feeling like during meditations, it was like, get out, move, move your feet. And so I'm starting to have these meditations and these feelings, and I'm expressing them to you. And at some point, you started to feel it too, and you started to receive your own messages about it. And it just it kept coming stronger and stronger and stronger, to the point that it was scary, because it was like, I was feeling this is what we needed to do, but the comfort of me at this point, because like first when we met 10 years ago, it was like, yeah, I want to come.
Yeah.
But then after we build this life, we have all of these children. I'm like, no, I don't want to come. Like it's not that I don't want to come. I just didn't want to physically full-time live here. I was okay with visiting.
Yeah.
But I was like, that'd be a lot. But yeah, the spiritual pull, it became a lot. And so one day I just came in like, we ain't got no choice. Like, I called him very aggressively, and I thought he was going to fight with me. And I was like, we need to move, and we need to move now. And I'm feeling we need to move. And I don't like saying secrecy. I would just say private. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to move. Privacy. Yeah, we need to move in privacy. Like, we don't need to announce our movements. And I really wasn't understanding at that point why I was receiving it that way. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy because I'm expecting to fight with him. Like, I'm literally prepared mentally to fight with him, because usually I let things slide. But whenever it's spiritual, whenever I feel like I'm receiving something or from God, or I'm receiving from the ancestors, I don't play about that. It's like there is no compromise for me when it comes to what I feel like I'm being spiritually led to do. And so I'm thinking I'm finna have to put up a fight. Mm-hmm. And I did it. He just was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and let's do it. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I need you to listen to me. Like, I'm dead serious. Okay, I'm serious too. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not talking about like in a few years. I'm talking about now. And he's like, me too. Like, so go ahead and get the passports and, all of this. I was like, don't play with me. I'm serious.
Yeah, you was like, wait a minute, he ain't arguing. Yeah. But, I think that's the part, like you were saying, it's spiritual, and, it's from a higher power. It's from the universal source. It's from God, Mm-hmm. It's from the ancestors, which is all the same, mm-hmm. In our understanding of it, universal source, it comes by way, of the ancestors. And, mm-hmm. It's all, we are one. But that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I see what she's saying. So I can do it. Because I've always been like this, no matter what. I'm not afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. I always looked at life like I got energy and I got life in me. If it don't work, I just start over and do something different. Mm-hmm. At least I got to experience. Like, I literally have lived my whole life like that, and that's why I'm like, I know I was designed to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. Because people look at me like, well, how you doing this? I thought you was doing that. Are you doing that?
We recreate ourselves.
How you doing
like
that?
This?
Yeah, I would just, because even the way I teach economics, mm-hmm. like I remember coming when we were saying, well, what we're going to call this company? And we was doing Masternomics. This was like in 2019, mm-hmm. The pandemic, right? And I was like, man, we got to have a company where we teach this. People got to understand, like, to be an entrepreneur, it comes from the inside. It's really spiritual. And so I was like, Masternomics, but I'm like, I don't want to teach it how nobody else, because I know it's really spiritual. And so the essence of the spiritual part is formless and form. Like, this is just a shell. Mm-hmm. And that's what these jobs are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just something, it's only temporary. You're only going to work for somebody for so long. Mm-hmm. Most people don't work for the same job their whole life, right? So people do this job, I'm a carpenter, I'm doing this now, I'm doing that now, I'm working at this place, whether it's McDonald's, whatever. And so that's what, no matter what, but most people are doing that reactively or adapting. They're adapting because they got fired. They say, well, the job's going to end. So then they go somewhere else. They don't really make the decision on their own.
Yeah.
And so, like, I remember when you was like, nah, we need to do it. You know, kids, they need to do this. You know, we don't really like the school system. We don't like this or that. And I was like, you know what? How I talk about this stuff, but now I got to live it. I was like, I can do it. And I was just like, yo, I'm okay, let's do it, you know? And I mean, here we are now. And guess what? Do we go through challenges? Hell yeah. But guess what? Everybody go through a challenge.
No matter what.
If you're wherever you're at on the planet Earth, you're gonna go through some challenges. But are you in control? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna teach people to be entrepreneurs and control their economy, then I'm gonna live it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be that true example. You know, and that's why it doesn't matter if I'm here. I'm saying the same thing to the young Ghanaians, right? If I'm in America, I'm saying the same thing to the young brothers in the same in the hood, right? It's the same thing. Do for yourself. You know, stop being afraid of trying, taking a chance. Don't be afraid of believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Stop conforming, you know, and we're here because we're not afraid.
Yeah. I mean, because even when we was talking about, we was like, if it don't work out, if it's not something that we're feeling is the right decision for our children long term, we can always go back or we can find another country. Like, we're not bound to be anywhere.
Right.
But one thing we did know, like, even now, we are still like ancestors while we're here, you know? But for the most part, if we don't know anything else, we know it's for the youth. Not only just our children, we knew that before we came, we was coming for the younger people here. And so, like, that's have been our passion. Even like when we started to feel the nudges of coming, we knew that we was coming for a purpose, and we knew that the purpose was tied into the youth. If we don't know anything else, we know that. And of course, it's still unfolding to us. We're still being revealed fully of like why we're here, you know, too. But one thing we do know is that we're here for a higher purpose. We know it's bigger than us. Of course, it's for our children, but we feel like our children is all of the children that we are being called to teach and that we're being called to pour into. Because like even here, like how he was saying, like with the culture here, most of them call us mommy and daddy anyway. Right. And so it's like, and I don't know about anybody else, but I take that serious. You know, it's like, okay, now I'm your mama. Let me speak some life into you. Let me make sure that I'm giving jewels to you. Let me make sure I'm adding value to you. Even if I'm just motivating you, even if I'm just telling you, okay, you're looking good today. Even if I'm just telling you, don't give up on yourself and I'm proud of you. It's just like I try my best to always give something towards the youth. You know, because I just feel like that's why we're here.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's been a journey, and it's so much more about our journey that we will reveal in time or as we continue the podcast. And so these podcasts, they're going to be a little different than the other podcasts, because this time, like before, it was just like all about teaching, and we still, like, even though we was being ourselves, we still was evolving of remembering more of who we are. And so there was parts of us that we was afraid to even put out there. Like, we normally wouldn't even talk about how deep the spiritual part go with us, or the meditations and the spiritual callings of our ancestors. You know, we really skated on the surface of that, afraid of how people would take that. But now I'm at a space that if you feel like I'm in this woo-woo world and I'm this whatever because I meditate and I receive messages from my ancestors and whatever, I'm just not for you, and I'm okay with that. But the spirituality is the roots of who I am. Like, I live this, I breathe this, I be this. The spiritual calling was even why we end up getting married. That's why we do what we do. Like, that's why we have our children. You know, it's bigger than us. So
yeah, and it ain't that we was afraid of what people would say. It's more so a lot of it was just our platform is always teaching.
It's always about business.
I was about business, but it's always about teaching at the heart. It's all about teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so, myself, my perspective was like, well, if you say something, you need to be able to explain it. Da, da, da. But, in this day and time, we're in the information age. And you don't have a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
to shift and change your life. And so we don't have the time to just stroke your ego and say and try to break everything down. No, if I say something and you don't know what that word means, go Google, go get a book. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of that was my method of teaching, because I'm an intricate person.
Well, I would say I was afraid.
Okay. Well, you might have been,
Yeah.
But and so now it's just more of, by us being who and what we are, we serve people better, just to be honest. Like, if, my wife, her just being her raw, authentic self is far more beneficial to the women she's talking to than trying to be somebody that she's not, or try to deliver a message being, nice and sweet, when some of y'all women, y'all don't need that nice sweet stuff. Y'all need some raw
truth.
Y'all need some raw truth.
Yeah.
And the same way for the brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, you need it raw. Like, you need the real, because the reality, that's how life is.
Yeah.
Life is not soft. Life is hard, and it get ugly, and it's tough. And so you just got to you have to accept that. And for us to be ourselves, we just got to, we're here. I've always taken care of my family. That's how I live. That's embedded in me. And is it easy? No, it's not easy, right? But it's what we have to do as men. And so we got to realize this: as people, we have a responsibility to take care of our families. We have a responsibility to build community. You see what I'm saying? And so us expressing who we are and expressing what we go through, this is an inspiration to people. You see what I'm saying? Because some people will be like, man, how you just move somewhere? Because I'm free. I'm not a slave. Mm-hmm. And guess what? I might move in another country. So you ain't never come back to America?
You never know.
Why would I never come back to America?
Right.
I mean, they make planes to travel back and forth. Like, we got to get out of this thinking that they gave us, that we got to live in this bubble, or, only these certain people. Oh, this 1%, they get to do this, but we don't get to do that. As long as you believe that they the only ones that can do that, they're going to be the only ones doing that. But if you understand who you are and the power that you have, right, and that God is in you, you can do any damn thing, then you're going to start living like that. And then you become free. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what freedom is. It's being able to travel where you want to go to, if you want to experience something. But guess what? To
free
do
will.
it, yeah, free will. Mm-hmm. But to do it, it ain't free, right? So it's going to cost you some money, right? Mm-hmm. So guess what? You need to be disciplined. You need the structure. You need to have a partner and plan out some stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Just do it.
Right. But these are the things that we see people on TV and you're like, oh, they're able to do it. Oh, they got it like that. It's just people that they focus on something. Yeah. I look at my wife more than just somebody I want to be in the bed with. Like, I ain't just marry her for that. That's stupid. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to marry somebody, then that's going to be your partner. That's going to be the person that when you down, going to have to lift you up. And guess what? She going to be another brain to think when you're talking about business. You know what I'm saying? But it's the way that people are being taught, and it's these fake, they call it social media, but this fake social.
Influencers.
Yeah, influence. Who the hell is influencing you? And why are you letting them influence you?
Yeah.
We got to think about that. Even that term, influencer, is something that people had to really think about.
That's what influencers
do. So we have to be at a higher level of thinking in this day and time. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people get very discombobulated. Like, they lose their minds when we say we didn't marry for love. Like how you saying, like, if I married my, or yeah, I didn't marry her, only lay in the bed with her. But it's like, I remember even having one of the young men that you was mentoring at one time, and he was like, this old man gonna say to me that you should marry a woman just because she's pretty. And you know, he was making it seem like the man was like insane. And I was like, you shouldn't. And he was like, why you know, he's like, why you think Mr. Glenn married you? And I'm like, Mr. Glenn did not marry me just because of looks or whatever.
Right.
And then so, you know, I was just being honest. I was like, there's women that look way better than, you know, like there's beautiful women everywhere or whatever. And so he was just marrying only for looks. I mean, you know, I'm not saying I'm ugly. I know I'm very confident.
Right. You're
making
it.
But I was like, what we married for was purpose. What we married for was mission. Like, I didn't marry you because that you are handsome. I didn't marry you because you have money. I didn't marry you because you whatever. You didn't marry me for looks. You didn't marry me because I'm young. Like the things that people assumed we were getting married for. It was literally purpose. Right. It was mission. It was what the ancestors was aligning. And once we started receiving the messages, the visions, the however you want to look at it, we was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Well, I was definitely like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I'm not doing it for my flesh. I'm doing it for my purpose. And even with our marriage vows, like we made a promise. It's like, we're going to stay together. I'm not, you know, like, it's not about him never falling short of, never having flaws or never doing anything wrong. But the only word we say the D word because we try, that's like a curse word. And so the terms for the D word for us is what? We forget who we are and we're no longer in our purpose. Right. And so if like we get too far from our purpose, then
you gotta tell them what the D word is though.
What is a D word? It's so dirty.
Right. I mean, some people might think that's what you're talking about, the D word. Dirty.
The divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, we try not to use that word with each other. And it's because that we are saying, okay, well, we're here for a purpose. Like, I'm not here to control him. He's not here to control me. I'm not here to force him to be a way that I feel like he should be. He's not here to force me to be a way that he thinks that I should be. We're growing. We're learning. We're nowhere near the same people we were when we met. And so we're still like, even though we've been together like 10 years now, I'm still getting to know him because he's constantly changing. Right. He's still getting to know me because I'm constantly changing. And sometimes that shit is uncomfortable. Like, because once you think you got the person figured out, it's a new season, you know?
And it's because you're constantly working on yourself.
Constantly.
And I'm constantly working on myself.
Every 3 months, we literally have to get to know each other all over again. Yeah. And sometimes when we get to know each other, I don't like the newness so much. And sometimes he don't like it. And we have to get to a space of just like, okay, it is what it is. And after we understand it better and we say, you know what, the reason I probably don't like it is because it's not what society told me it should be. If, you know, and so that'd be a lot of it. Or it's just like the uncomfortable, the newness or whatever, but it's just a part of it. But I'm saying all of this to say that, why am I saying all of this? I get
you expressing yourself, but I think I remember I was talking about people not marrying. I didn't marry you just you know for the outside.
Yes.
You know,
and so you know what we say,
pretty to the eye.
We got married for something bigger, and so when we say we didn't marry for love. And I realized that he was saying to me when we first got married, when we first started talking, actually, that how the European way of love, where we have been taught love, I'm trying to say a better way to say it, but I don't know a better way to say it, was pretty much like a fantasy love, like a romantic, it wasn't real. It's not based on real solid love. And I remember reading a book called Real Love by Ava Muhammad. And so she was even speaking about, they trick us with words because they say we fall in love. You don't fall in love, you grow in love. And because you don't really know, like when you first marry somebody, a lot of the times when you marry them, you don't really love them yet. you are in lust with them. You have like these.
We fall in lust.
Yes, we fall in love. Yes, and I mean lust, and we be like, it's like the sexual attraction. Like, oh, you just so sexy. I just want to, do all of this.
It's all lust.
Yes, but it's not real love because because that's gonna fade. I don't care how dope that person is, how fine they is, how much money they got. That fades. Right. That goes in and out. That's seasonal. But the love is like, no matter what season we're in, I still have his back. I may not like him that much, and he may not like me that much, but he still have my back. Like we grow in love because it's the times that like when I lost my brother, he was there. Like, during those hard times when mama transitioned, I was there. Like, it was like during those times that I didn't need him to be strong. I'm like, you don't have to be strong today. I'll be strong for you. Like, I'll be your strength. Or it's days when he'll be my strength. So we don't even believe in that 50-50 love, none of that, because sometimes he don't have 50 to give. Sometimes he only working with 75%. I mean, he only got 25%, and I got to come with the 75%, and that's okay too. And then sometimes he ain't got nothing but 10%, or vice versa. And so I'm not saying we're perfect. We still human. It's crap. We still do some crazy stuff. We still,
it's called growth.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and
it's definitely
what you was talking about.
Society perfect.
What they call romance comes from Roman, but it really mean Roman antics. So when you think all that, I'm carrying a woman and I gotta hold her. These are just antics. This is how they made people think that was just what love is. It's an act. It's like you put on TV. He did this because he loved me. Or I might give you the biggest diamond ring, right? That's not love though. You know what I'm saying? That's an act. These are antics. These are stuff people do because we think that's what's love. They made us think love that you can put it in a package, but love is experience, and that's why like you talk to people that been married for 50 plus years. What they're gonna tell you about is how they grew together. They're gonna tell you about they're gonna mention all the things that they went through that no other human stood by them, but that person did. You see what I'm saying? So it's so much deeper than the outer. You know what I'm saying? It's like you might lust and find this beautiful woman, but what's on the inside of her? Would she be beautiful when you in the hospital? You see, because if she's a woman and all she focuses on is that outer beauty, and all on social media, all you see is her focusing on the outer beauty, well, she's getting a bunch of attention. You see what I'm saying? And that attention brings problems. You see, that attention brings the devil, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because that attention brings everybody.
So you're saying a woman that get attention brings the devil?
I'm saying, the devil could be any person or thing that keeps you distracted on things that don't matter. And so that attention keeps a lot of women, not all women, and same a lot of men too. Attention is attention, right? But if you just focus, a woman that just totally focuses on the outer part of her,
outside validation,
right, is always seeking the outside validation, and she's gonna get so much attention. I mean, you can just ask some women. You go in their DMs because all you do is show the outside all day, every day. So guess what? You're getting men that just only care about the outside, and some women confuse that attention with like, oh, he don't even like you. He's just lusting for you. You see? And so we as humans, we love to lust and we lust to love. We love to lust, but we lusting after this illusionary love. That it's all about lust,
And that's part of the human experience too.
That's part of it. But in order to grow and transition, you have to go internal. And see, once you go internal, you're going to attract somebody that matches that internal aspect, because the outer part of us, it will fade away. It's just fact. I don't care how beautiful a woman is. I don't care how his muscles is. You see what I'm saying? Once he start getting that age, his body don't produce it as much and all that, right? As far as the muscle aspect, you see. So at some point, we have to look on the inside. And if
we avoid the inside, we're always going to feel empty. Like,
and the thing is, this is what purpose is different. Purpose is, I didn't say I want you in my life ever because you're beautiful. and I know there's a plenty of beautiful women, and you know, and I know that you're a woman. I ain't a woman, but there's probably a lot of good looking dudes, right?
There's a lot of men with money,
right? And there's a lot of men with money, right? But so that's not it. So it's got to be purpose, because what you realize and what I realize is that we have a family. Our goal is family, right? Our goal was even before we had, our family, it was to help families. It was to help couples, help people be together. We wanted to help our people, wanted to help Black people. You see what I'm saying? And the essence of family is man, woman, and then comes a child. So our thing was always, well, how do we keep the relationship? Well, that comes with values and principles. So our relationship was always, that was the key. And, my wife would tell you, we used to get in arguments. I don't even know if it's, but we got, publicly married or whatever. And she used to be so mad. She wasn't always like this. She was a little crazy too. But she would be so mad, and she would be like,
was I crazy?
Well, you was reacting to
what?
To
so was I crazy?
That's a trick question.
Oh.
We both was a little crazy. Okay. But anyways. So she would get so mad, and she'd be like, that's it, I'm gone. I'm out of here. And I used to look at her. This is gonna sound crazy. I remember I was blotting up like, gone, where you going? And she like, I'm getting out of there. Saying, where you gonna go?
And Rocco would come like every 2 months.
Ain't nowhere you go, ain't nowhere to go to. I'm like, that's it.
The moment he said anything I didn't like, if he even said, why I don't know if he'll be like, why you leave the cup on the counter? Oh.
She be ready, I'm gone. And I used to always tell her, it ain't nowhere to go. This it.
I'm like, what you mean?
I was like, this it ain't nowhere to go.
I'm gonna show
like
you.
We either figure this out or we figure it out. There's nowhere but you can go. This is what we signed up. And then what will always happen,
every time
something would happen tragic
in our family.
Would happen,
Every
and then
time.
all that stupid little argument would go out because we would be like, she was the only one right there for me.
Or he was
or vice versa. And then we started looking at it, we was like, you know what? You're right, it ain't nowhere to go. Because this is commitment. And so that, families, I think, should hold on to that and realize you're gonna have problems, but you gotta commit to something. You know what I'm saying? Like my life, the life I have, I go where I want, I travel where I want, I eat what I want. I got a beautiful wife, I got children, even my grown children, I got relationships with all my kids. And a lot of that's because of the person that I chose to be my partner. You know what I'm saying? And those are decisions you got to think about when you pick a man or a woman. How does this affect your whole life? Is this person going to add value to your whole life? Okay, so that's what we got to look at.
And so we said a lot for this episode of just reintroducing ourselves with coming back of like we've been gone for a while, but now we're coming back, but we're coming back a little bit more authentic, a little bit more raw, a little bit more behind the scenes of really getting to know us and telling our stories, because it's one thing just to always be teaching, but we want you to be able to feel us, to be able to resonate with where we're coming from, with how we started. And we haven't always had it figured out. We still don't have it all figured out. I mean, we
experience.
Yes.
That's what. So look, what would be the message from this moment in mastery? I think it would be, you are always having an experience.
Always evolving.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what the moments of mastery, because it's moments of mastery. Yeah. And so even though every day is not a perfect day, we still strive for perfection every single day. Even though we don't always get it right, we still strive every single day to get it right. And so it's not that we looking at we have to be perfect, but we still strive for to be closer to perfection as we possibly can.
Striving for perfection.
Yeah. And I don't feel like don't get me wrong, I don't want to get caught up in the loop of everything got to be perfect, because I did get lost in the perfection, but I am human. I think that's why we're doing the podcast, is to show our imperfections, is to show how human we are, to show how normal we are. Our life experiences, and so it's like.
Because this is how life should work, right? Experience. Someone else, you might hear, you might hear my story,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's my story. Now you can listen. My story can inspire you to go experience it on your own. That's what it should do.
Mm-hmm.
But don't ever let someone's story just become your reality.
Yes.
You have to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are spiritual beings
Mm-hmm.
having this physical experience.
Yeah.
You see? So because we're spiritual, you get to transmute, you get to move, you get to shape, you get to shift. You see what I'm saying? And so it's all about experience. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about experience, having these experiences.
Oh, I want to talk about the failure part again, how you said you're not afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the things that I would love for people to take out of the podcast, is saying that we want to shine light on times that we mother freaking failed, because we failed our way to the top. We failed our way to success. Like if you research any successful person, I don't care if they came from money, they failed their way to success. They done a lot of things that they wasn't good at, or that they had to just keep perfecting. You know, I hate to give examples like that, but it was like, well, what it was Warren Buffett, like which one he said, I didn't lose 100 times. I just found 100 ways that it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I forgot who said it, but you get the point.
Mm-hmm. And but I'm saying is to say that don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone and to try something. I'm not saying you gotta be dramatic as us and move out of the country, but do something, do something that scares you a little bit, and don't be afraid to fail, because sometimes, like when you fail, that's you will be able to, like a lot of the things that I tried and I failed, I end up meeting somebody that introduced me or sparked my mind to do something different. Or I learned a key value point, a life-changing thing from that experience. And it shifted me and it changed me. And so I really didn't fail because I received something out of it. And so we look at all of our failures and we turn all of our L's into lessons. We say, well, this is what we learned. And so like, even him, like, I love telling this story. When you came home and you was like, I got something to tell you. So he had an attitude for like 2-3 months straight, like being mean. And I was like, I'm so sick of this nigga. Just being honest. And then he's like, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, finally, what is it? And he's like, I lost $250,000 in car business. I was like, oh, okay. You'll make it back. Is that how it happened?
I remember.
You can't
you wasn't. I don't remember. You didn't. It wasn't like the end of the world to you.
It wasn't. To
me, I was like, man,
we make
what
money.
I'm gonna do.
Like,
I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man.
And I was like,
I didn't even know how I was gonna tell you.
I know.
I was like, she gonna think, oh, I married a failure. Like, that's what I was really thinking.
And it never crossed my mind.
Yeah, I was like, she'd be like, oh my God, you idiot, this and that. And I was
like, okay.
It was just controlling me. Yeah, and I was mad for about 2 months, but I said something was like, man, I gotta just tell her,
And so I said, no, you didn't lose $250,000. What you did was you paid $250,000 for a lesson.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I told him.
Yeah, you grabbed my chin. I remember. I was like, and I'm looking, I'm like,
and now to be real,
I'm like, this woman is all right. Damn, she didn't even make me feel bad. And I felt so empowered after that. I was like, man, I'm gonna get this money.
But I'm thinking he gonna go and get out of that business and go try something else. But he refused to be defeated, and so he had to go prove his point. With that industry. But I just let him do his thug dizzle about it. Like, you just made him make sure.
Yeah, don't be losing money now.
Or make sure this family got what it need now. Shoot. But so I'm saying that to say once again that don't be afraid. Not saying you got to go lose $250,000, but don't be afraid to make some mistakes That's what life is about, man.
Yeah.
Like, just think about all of the crazy stuff that you did. I love my regrets. Like, sometimes as I look back,
I laugh at them now. Yeah, it's funny now, but
I was crazy.
The time going through it, boy.
When you're going through it, something. But you look back, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
To me, it make life worth living. It's like, you have something. You can't, what was the saying? You can't be old and wise if you've never been young and dumb. And so don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Don't be afraid to do something. But in the next episode, we're going to talk about when I said Africa is not for the weak.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't get into that.
You got to be strong to live here. Mentally strong. But yeah.
Well, love, peace, hair grease is I forgot who used to say that in Soul Train. But anyway, Don Cornelius.
I don't even know who Don.
I knew she was gonna say that, right? But anyways, we appreciate you.
Okay, so if you know love, peace, and hair grease or whatever, comment and let him know that you vibing and get it, because I'm over here like, what?
Anyway, but we thank you. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on all social media. Now you got to subscribe to the Masternomics. We got Phoenix Land Development. Check out the Phoenix Land Development. Be a part of the Phoenix Land Development. Invest in Phoenix Land Development. Building community in the Black Belt in Alabama. Resurrected. Phoenix has risen up. We're buying land.
And it's going to be a smart city.
Yeah, smart city. We're doing beautiful development. So Phoenix Land Development. Here in Ghana, we have the Ancestral Homes community, a diasporan community, starting in Tolan, which is in northern Ghana. We also have the Masternomics Academy. Beautiful. It's going to be online academy and an in-person where we're teaching entrepreneurship. We ain't teaching you how to get no job. I'm not teaching you how to fill out no application. I'm teaching you how to be a check writer and how to be your own boss. Not them fools on TV just throwing drinks on each other. And we're teaching skills.
So you can start a business with those skills.
Mental development is what we're teaching. We're teaching people how to think. Believe it or not, most people don't really think. They just follow set patterns and systems that was given. So we're teaching you how to use your greatest tool, which is the mind, and techniques, how to get there. Everything in entrepreneurship, we're going to have it, courses and all that great stuff. What else we doing in Ghana? We have the Northern Ghana Diasporan Association, which I'm the co-chairman of. It is an association of membership. We bring together business people, teachers, educators, anything that can help develop Ghana. Diasporans, people, like ourselves, born in the United States, black people, African Americans, whatever name you like to call yourself nowadays, helping to develop Ghana through investment, through business. I'm the president of the Taste of Africa, and we have the Cultural Oneness Festival every year. So this December in Ghana, we'll have the Cultural Oneness Festival.
Fourth annual?
It's going to be fourth year. So very proud of that. Most of all, I'm happy that you are here. So continue to support us. Send us any questions.
I want to make sure we're not forgetting anything.
Yeah, it seems like we
so
something.
Much.
But
and it's a
Seed of Life. Seed of Life. The Seed of Life Empire.com. Right? That's the new website. The Seed of Life Empire. The Seed of Life Empire. We got it right there. We got to make sure we put it right there. So the Seed of Life Empire. Yeah, in the Seed of Life Empire, it shows all of the organizations that we have, and it's all about uniting, investing in one another, and building in multiple aspects.
Yeah, and then there's more to come with the investments and here in Ghana, but we want to make sure we have all of our legal stuff together with it first before we actually announce them. But there's a lot more investments in the making.
And hey, we also helping. We are now dual citizens. We are Ghanaian citizens. Of course, we're United States citizens. But we are citizens in this beautiful country of Ghana.
Oh, and we can help you.
We can help you. Yeah, we can help you. First, we want you to come experience. If you've never been to Ghana, come and experience it. Come tour. Come check it out. It's beautiful.
If you think we should do a video on the pros and cons of living here, let us know.
Yeah, we do that. We do that. But we want to tell you about the pros right now. You need to come and you experience, and you need to tour. I'm telling you, man, you're gonna love it. You hang out. We'll hang out in Accra. We'll have a great time, and then you'll learn the culture and learn some customs. And Ghana, come experience Ghana. And so for those of you that have been seeking, trying to be citizens, we can help you, direct you, and put you on that path, and we'll get you in the game. So
Is that everything?
yeah, I think that's good. And peace.